What's up, guys? Sniper MMA here to break down the main card of UFC 289. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button to get these videos as they come out. Happy to be back doing content. You want all my DraftKings plays? Make sure you go to MMAplay365.com. Check all that out. We're just going to talk straight fight breakdowns in this video for the main card of UFC 289. We are going to start with the main event. Amanda Nunes, the champion, minus 350 favorite, taking on Aldana, the challenger. She's at plus 260. Mexico looking for another UFC champion here. Do they get it done? So Aldana is on a currently, I think it's just a 2-fight win streak. She's won 4 of her last 5. She lost to Holly Holm. It's kind of a weird spot coming off a title fight. She got a win against Yana Santos. Okay, finished her quick. And then had that impressive but odd heel kick knockout from the bottom. It was up kick to the liver of Macy Chiasson. And Chiasson was probably on her way to winning that fight. It was 1-1 going into the third. Chiasson had really dominated the second round with a lot of top control time. Third round got her down, but could not kind of solidify that position. Gets up kicked to the liver. And Amanda Nunes, we know, is really well-rounded. So Aldana needs to keep this at range, at the boxing range, and kind of use her striking that way. We've seen people have some success being able to stay at range with Amanda Nunes. The Valentina Shevchenko fight, I know Nunes won those fights. That's an example. There was also the Jermaine Durandamy fight, which she resorted to her takedowns. And that's kind of, I think, the fight I'm going to point to the most in terms of why I am going to go with the champion here as a spoiler. It's that takedown defense of Aldana I don't think has progressed enough to keep her upright against Nunes. Chiasson just had 3 takedowns. Holly Holm had 5 takedowns in that fight against Aldana. I was able to beat her up there. Yeah, she looked better against Yana Santos. I don't, unless there's improvement I haven't seen yet, I don't think this is the spot. Amanda Nunes, in her career, averages 2.61 takedowns per 15 minutes. She can get plenty. She just had 6 last time out against Juliana Pena and 3 knockdowns in that fight. She got 6 against Felicia Spencer. If that's what she wants to do, that's what she's going to do and can do in this fight. The problem is if Amanda Nunes decides to stay in and trade with Aldana and Aldana can keep her at range, I think there's some problems here. And that is a little bit of a concern. I'm confident in the Nunes play as long as she has the right game plan. She can look for the big shot. Yeah, I know she has the power to get it to finish anyone in this weight class, but I want to see her hitting the ground as soon as possible. If she messes around with Aldana on the feet at range and it potentially tires out, Aldana's live for that reason. I just think Amanda Nunes, being smart, she's seen her mistakes. I think she'll go for the takedown. She will secure top control, and I think she'll be able to finish Aldana or at least dominate her on the ground. My official pick, though, with the ground game being the difference, I'm going to go Amanda Nunes via round 1 submission. Let's talk about our co-main event of the night. Former UFC lightweight champion Charles Oliveira, du Bronx. He's a plus 110 underdog, taking on Beneil Dariush at minus 135. A little surprised to see Dariush as the favorite in this fight. Oliveira looked pretty unbeatable until Islam Makhachev rocked him and then submitted him. He won, I think it was 11 straight fights, plenty of finishes in there, UFC record holder in terms of submissions. And I said that, looked unbeatable a little bit tongue-in-cheek because you have to remember, even the fights he's winning, he's getting hurt every fight. And you're going to hear that a lot this week, I think, on these breakdown videos. But it is true. Gaethje knocked him down. You saw the Michael Chandler fight. Chandler had his back for the whole first round. Poirier knocked him down. He's the last person who really didn't cause him any problems. I don't think Tony Ferguson had anything for him. Kevin Lee had some takedowns in their fight. Like he can be got at. He's gotten over the stigma of being a quitter. I used to throw that at him. That clearly does not stick anymore. But he can be hurt in these fights. He wears a lot of damage. And both guys are good on the feet and they're good at submissions. Beneil Dariush is a legit black belt. The dude throws hard. He's willing to get into absolute war. He had the crazy comeback against Drakkar Klose. He can get takedowns. Um, he had 5 against Diego Ferreira. He can knock people down. He's got knockdowns. He knocked down Mateus Gamrot last time out. I don't think Oliveira's wrestling is as good as Gamrot's. I don't think Benny's going to get taken down here. It'll be really interesting. I think this is a situation where two really good grapplers with mediocre wrestling kind of cancel each other out grappling, and we're going to see a striking fight. If it ends up into a grappling fight, I probably would lean do Bronx. But as the fight gets later, I think later into the fight is going to favor Benny in all areas. And really, I think this fight is going to turn into a war. Maybe one or both guys are going to get hurt. And in those type of wars, I like Benny to come out on top of those. I think he's more likely to bite down on the mouthpiece, go, and finish do Bronx. I think as the fight gets, I think do Bronx is better early and Benny late. And I think Benny's going to drag this into deep waters. We're going to see do Bronx hurt at some point, as we've seen in the relatively recent past and frequently. And that's why I'm edging ever so slightly towards the Beneil Dariush side, just by the odds. Clearly, this is the closest fight in the main card. I agree with the odds. I have that slight lean towards Benny. When I broke down the fight, looking at bets, I don't look at the lines first. I was thinking, I think I have an underdog shot here on Beneil Dariush. I look at the line, and this is probably right where I would have had it lined. I was hoping some late money comes in on do Bronx. I think it's lined appropriately. Official pick for me for this fight is going to be Beneil Dariush via round 2 knockout. Next fight on this card, we're going to go Mike Malott minus 210, taking on Adam Fugitt. I keep wanting to say his name incorrectly. And I just looked it up before I started the podcast, and I'm going to go Fugitt. And if it's wrong, sorry, it's right. It left my brain like immediately as I put it in there. Speaking of things leaving brains, I don't know why I think that's a good segue. It's not. I'll stop right here real quick. Hit that like button for me if you didn't already. Okay, I'll get right back into the content. Sorry, guys. Mike Malott is a really good grappler. As soon as he gets people to the mat, he finishes them. He's got a fight in the contender series and 2 in the UFC. All of them round 1 finishes, all of them with one, like he had a submission choke on a guillotine choke on the contender series, knocked down Mickey Gall and then submitted him. And then against Lioness last time out, he got a takedown and just dominated him on top. Really good top game pressure, really slick on top, like his submission skills, like everything got like ground and pound, like everything about him. Think he lacks a little bit of activity. That would be my knock on Malott. I want to see him throw more against guys not Mickey Gall. Mickey Gall's not a great striker. And that's what happened in that fight. I want a little bit more activity out of Malott. Fugitt, on the other hand, got knocked down twice in his UFC debut against Michael Morales. Came back out last time out and was a big underdog against Yoshiako Kinoshita and got takedowns and was able to finish Kinoshita. And that's the issue, I think, with anybody backing Fugitt this week. I think Fugitt does his best work on the ground, and I just don't know how he's going to – I don't think he gets Malott down. There's a path in this fight that they stay upright, and it's kind of low pace, and we see one of those wonky decisions like we've been seeing every week. But to me, Fugitt's striking is really stiff. He has some power in his hands. He can hit, but I don't think he flows as well. I think Malott's going to do a better job staying at range, touching him up, and if this fight hits the ground, I think it'll be Malott to have much more success. And that's kind of where I think this fight goes. I think Malott at some point is going to find his own takedown, or Fugitt is going to leave himself open, kind of overextended, get sprawled on, and Malott will end up on top. I think somehow Malott finds top position. Could be a knockdown as well. I just think at some point Fugitt is going to get frustrated and make a mistake. I think Malott is the more well-rounded mixed martial artist. So official pick for this fight for me is going to be Mike Malott via round 2 knockout. Next fight on this card, Dan 50K Ige, minus 250, taking on Nate Landwehr at plus 200. this has got to be the people's main event. Like, I am excited for this fight. You got to be excited to watch Nate the Train fight. He is an exciting guy, and it's good to see Dan Ige back. Dan Ige, we thought really the big thing here is going to be quality competition. Before his last fight, Ige had lost 4 or 5. It was Calvin Kattar, Korean Zombie, Josh Emmett, Movsar Evloev. And a lot of those fights he was winning until he would get hurt and then drop rounds. Excuse me, sorry. And it was just a kind of a durability thing. Against Damon Jackson, I think I was a victim of it too. You forget how good Dan Ige's takedown defense is and how clean his boxing is. And I can admit it, I got caught up a little bit in the hype train there. Damon Jackson, I think when look it up, only shot 1 takedown. Damon Jackson also didn't look good on the night, but you cannot take anything away from Dan Ige. Countered perfectly, pressed forward when he needed to, got a big finish. Now, Movsar Evloev and Chang Sung-jung both were able to get takedowns in their fights. I don't think Nate is going to be able to get takedowns in this fight. That would be his path to victory here. We can different just quality competition. I just listed some of the guys that Ige lost to, but was in the cage with and in some close fights. And by the way, he's got wins over Mirsad Bektik and Edson Barbosa. Whereas you go to the Nate Landwehr side, and that crazy, fun, love to watch war against David Onama. He's got a win against Ludovic Kleins, probably his best win, honestly. And he beat Austin Lingo. And then he outlasted Darren Elkins. And it's basically Darren Elkins 2.0. The dude just moves forward, pressure, can hit, will look to grapple, just go, go, go. Unfortunately, I think that plays into Dan Ige's hand, and that Dan Ige will see him coming forward, land big shots, and hurt Landwehr. The reason why I can't recommend a bet on Dan Ige is because I've seen him hurt. And if Nate Landwehr is able to withstand the damage and pull Darren the Damage Elkins out here, if he can withstand the early punishment and press forward and really pressure Ige, he has the path to a victory in that way. He can just wear down Dan Ige. That is totally viable, and that's why minus 250 is too large for me. In terms of skill for skill, I think Dan Ige is the more skilled fighter. But Nate Landwehr has that dog in him. He can press forward, and it's just viable. He can make this a dirty scrap, and in that type of fight, I would favor Nate Landwehr. But I'm going to go just based on skill for skill, quality competition, and who's going to have the edge. I think a clear edge, at least early in this fight. Official pick for this one is going to be Dan Ige via round 1 knockout. And for his sake, I kind of hope he gets it done then. Last fight of the night, or of the main card, I should say. Leading off the pay-per-view, Eric Anders plus 115, taking on Marc-Andre Barriault at minus 140. Eric Anders probably looked the most aggressive we've seen him in a long time. Last time out against Kyle Daukaus, one of the Daukaus brothers. Got the round 2 finish before that. And he's been competing in grappling. Before that, though, he had back-to-back losses against Jung Sung Park, Andre Muniz, the 2 Darren Stewart fights, won the no contest and the win. Typically, though, he's just not very active. I hope what we saw against Kyle Daukaus is the new normal. And even then, it wasn't a ton of volume, but it was much more than he had put out there. In his career, he's still landing just over 3 significant strikes a minute. He'll look to mix in some of the wrestling. Darren Stewart took him down in their second fight. It's kind of Eric Anders is that strong guy, has some power, can try and muscle you down if he has an advantage there. He's just all around okay. And it's okay for UFC. Whooped the shit out of me, clearly. But Marc-Andre Barriault is another just pressure volume fighter. So the last fight against Julian Marquez was so fun. He had 2 of those guys. Barriault and Marquez combined for 191 significant strikes in under 2 rounds. Craziness. And that's just the pressure that Barriault can put out there. He's, the blueprint to beat him is like what Anthony Hernandez did. Ground him and just beat him that way. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Trying to kick this cough. Early in his career, he lost some decisions to guys like Christoph Jocko, Andrew Sanchez. If you can't ground him, and I don't think Eric Anders is going to be able to, I think Barrio's just going to have the volume advantage in this fight. Um, at range, I just don't think Anders is going to do enough to put down to win any kind of decision against Barrio. Although on the judges' scorecards these days, again, who the hell knows? But I don't think Barrio's been finished in the UFC by knockout. Actually, Chidi and Jukwani did finish him, but Anders doesn't have that kind of power. I don't think Anders has got the power to put away Barrio. I think they extend this fight cardio-wise. I think Barrio's going to have the advantage. This becomes a dirtier type of fight. He's got a volume advantage. I don't think Eric Anders is going to be able to get this fight where he needs it to get the victory. That would be his path, though. So for me, official pick for this one, volume war. I think official pick is going to be Marc-Andre Barrio via via unanimous decision. Sorry about that. So unanimous decision. That's what I got for you guys for this episode. Do me a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Our main event back up on the screen. It is Amanda Nunes taking on Irene Aldana. Drop me a comment as well. Let me know who you think is going to win the main event, or if I'm way off on these picks. Let me know. I can take it. I'm a big boy. Did go 2-0 last week. We just did the main and co-main event. I will admit I got incredibly lucky on the Albazi pick. Kai Kara-France won that fight to me, but I guess we'll take the win and move on. Didn't have a bet on it, but still, bad decisions are bad decisions there. Bad for the sport. If you want to check out the betting plays, Newsom does those, the MMA Play 365. I got the DraftKings content. Check out the DFS hub there. Appreciate all the support. Give me a follow on Twitter at sniper_MMA. That's all I got for you guys. Good luck whether you are betting, playing DFS, whatever you're doing. Good luck, and I will see you next time.